Alrighty, I guess it's time to start. Gonna be working through a bunch of SAT questions today, starting with practice exam 2, and if I have enough time I'll go through practice exam 3. But for now, I'm gonna get right into it. The line graph shows the percent of cars for sale at a used car lot on a given day by model year. For what model year is the percent of cars for sale the smallest? That would be the same thing as saying the minimum. So when is the percent the smallest? Model year. We see here that the minimum of this graph is 5%, and the year for that is 2014. For a particular machine that produces beads, 29 out of every 100 beads that is produced has a defect. A bead produced by the machine will be selected at random. What is the probability of selecting a bead that has a defect? Well, 29 out of 100 is the same thing as saying 29%. The answer is C. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N, and line T intersects both lines. What is the value of x? We know this and this are equivalent. And then we know this and this are also equivalent to those. So x must be equivalent to this angle. And because the straight line here must be 180, we know it's going to be 180 minus 33. And 180 minus 33 is 147. What is the y-intercept of the graph shown? Well, the y-intercept is when this line crosses the y-axis, and that happens when y is equal to 8, which is at 0. So first B and A are obviously wrong. So that's 0, 8. The total cost, f of x in dollars, to lease a car for 36 months from a particular car dealership is given by this function, where x is the monthly payment. What is the total cost to lease a car when the monthly payment is 400? So we're going to set f of x is equal to 400. And that's going to mean that 400 is equal to 36x plus 1,000. It's going to represent it as 1k. So we're going to subtract no. We should not subtract 1,000 from each side. What am I doing wrong here? Where x is the monthly payment. Let's redo this. The total cost of f of x in dollars to lease a car for 36 months from a particular car dealership is given by f of x is equal to 36x plus 1,000, where x is the monthly payment in dollars. What is the total cost to lease a car when the monthly payment is 400? We're going to plug in 400 for x. So 36 times 400, it's going to be 1,200 plus, maybe 12,000 actually. 36 times 400 is 12,000 plus 2,400, which is 14,400. And then you add 1,000, and that's 15,400, or 15,400. So C. Each side of a square has a length of 45. What is the perimeter of a square? Of the square? Well, that will be 45 times 4, which will be 180. What is a positive solution to the given equation? Okay. 55 over x plus 6. We can multiply x plus 6 to both sides. So let's write this here. Multiply x plus 6 to both sides. We get 55 is equal to x plus 6 times x, which is x squared plus 6 minus 55 after we multiply out the x plus 6 and the x and move the 55 over. So now we need to find factors of 55 to solve this quadratic. And they need to sum to 6, so the smaller number is going to be negative and the larger number is going to be positive. In this case, I'm thinking positive 11 and negative 5. So we have x, in this case, it'll be minus 11. No. In this case, it'll be plus 11. And then x minus 5, which should give us negative 55, multiplying the negative 5 and the 11. And then negative 5x plus 11x will give us positive 6x. So then we have x is equal to 5, because if this is equal to 0, then when x is equal to 5, this will equal 0. So this is the positive solution. We can verify this. That 55 divided by 5 plus 6, or 11, is equal to 5. An object travels at a constant speed of 12 centimeters per second. At this speed, what is the time in seconds that it would take for the object to travel 108 centimeters? So 108 is the total distance, and we divide that by 12, and this is about 9. The lists give the values in datasets x and y, which statement correctly compares the mean of dataset x and the mean of dataset y. The mean of dataset y is going to be greater than the mean of dataset x because it has an outlier of 27. B is true. The means are not equal. A rock contained 467,000 kilograms of propellant before rocket. A rocket contained 467,000 kilograms of propellant before launch. Exactly 21 seconds after launch, 362,105 kilograms of this propellant remained. On average, approximately how much propellant in kilograms did the rocket burn each second after launch? So this is going to be the difference, and we're going to divide by 21. So this is our starting. We're going to divide by 21 to get the per second amount. Probably have to use a calculator here. Okay. 467,000 minus 362,105 is equal to 104,895. Dividing that by 21, we get 4,995. So A is the correct answer. If 4x plus 2 is equal to 12, what is the value of 16x plus 8? Okay. Let's see. 4x plus 2 is equal to 12. So that means 4x is equal to 10 if we subtract the 2 over. And thus x is equal to 2.5. So 16 times 2.5 plus 8. Well, this is 4 times 4 times 2.5, so this is 40. And this is 8, so 48. An object is kicked from a platform. The equation negative 4.9t squared plus 7t plus 9 represents this situation, where h is the height of the object above the ground in meters, t seconds after it is kicked. Which number represents the height in meters from which the object was kicked? That's going to be 9. Wait. The equation represents this situation where h is the height of the object. We need to find the y-intercept. H is the height of the object. We need to find when h is 0, what is negative 4.9t squared plus 7t plus 9. Well, it's kicked from a platform. In this case, it's just 9. So let's go back and through that. An object is kicked from a platform. The equation h is equal to negative 4.9t squared plus 7t plus 9 represents the situation, where h is the height of the object above the ground in meters t seconds after it is kicked. Which number represents the height in meters from which the object was kicked? Well, when you plug in 0 for t, you get 9. So we can assume here that the height in meters from which the object was kicked was 9. The given function defines the function f. The given equation defines the function f. For which value of x does f of x reach its minimum? 4x squared minus 50x plus 126 is the equation. We're going to do negative b over 2a to get our x, which is 50 over 8, which is 12.5. No, that's not right. 50 over 8 is, let's see, 6.25. So at 6.25, x is at its minimum. So if we plug that back in, 6.25 times 6.25 times 4 is 156.25 minus 50 times 6.25 is 312.5 plus 126. Adding these all together, we get negative 30.25. Let's see if that makes sense. Well, we did plug in the x value. We expect this to be fairly negative, much more negative than this. So it makes sense that it is a negative number. Small business owner budgets $2,200 to purchase candles. The owner must purchase a minimum of 200 candles to maintain the discounted pricing. If the owner pays $4.90 per candle to purchase small candles and $11.60 per candle to purchase large candles, what is the maximum number of large candles the owner can purchase to stay within the budget and maintain the discounted pricing? Let's see. So we have our small candles and our large candles. That has to be greater than or equal to 200. And then 4.9 times the small plus 11.6 times the large has to be less than or equal to 2,200. Then we can just plug some of this stuff in. We get that S is greater than or equal to 200 minus L. We know S is positive. Let's plug that in for S. We get 4.9 times 200 minus L is less than or equal to 2,200. So then we multiply 4.9 by 200. We get 980 minus 4.9L plus 11.6L is less than or equal to 2,200. Combine like terms, subtract the 980 over. We get that 11.6 minus 4.9 is 6.7 L. So 1,200 divided by 6.7 is 182. That means at most she can buy 182 large candles. She would have to buy 18 small candles. To see if this makes sense, let's multiply 182 by 11.6. That's 2,111. So she would have to spend the remaining, what is it, 90, no, the remaining 88.8 on the small candles, and that makes sense. In the linear function f of 0 is 8 and f of 1 is 12. What equation defines f? Well, the slope is 4, so we have 4x, and it has a y-intercept at 8. So we have 4x plus 8. The function f of w is equal to 6w squared, gives the area of a rectangle in square feet. If its width is w and its length is 6 times its width, which of the following is the best interpretation of f of 14 is equal to 1,176? So a rectangle's equation for area is width times height. If its width is w and its length, or in this case, the area of a rectangle here is going to be the width times the length. In this case is 6w squared. So if the area is 14, or if we plug in 14 for the width, then we have 1,176. So if the width of the area is 14, then the area of the rectangle is 1,176. Yeah, this is the only one that is correct, because the function gives us the area, so we can immediately get rid of b. And we know the area is this, so d is also wrong. If the width, okay, the width is obviously not 1,176. The only one is a. The circle shown has center 0, circumference 144 pi, and diameters PR and QS. The length of arc PS is twice the length of arc PQ. What is the length of arc QR? So circumference is equal to 2 pi r. In this case it's 144. So the radius is 72. Since the radius is 72, the length of arc PS is twice PQ. What is the length of QR? Well, QR would be the same length as PS. They're both diameters, so it would just be 2 times the radius. That doesn't make sense here. Oh, of the arc QR. We're looking for the arc of QR. Okay. So if we can divide the circle into SQ, we know that the SQ side and it'll divide the circle in half. So we know each side is going to have, what would that be? If the circumference is 144 pi, then it's 72 pi for each half. So SQ's half, so the SQ arc or semicircle is 72 pi. So then if PQ is half the size of SP, or PR, yeah, PS is twice the length of PQ. So that means PQ is a third of the entire, and PS is the other 2/3. So if there would be 2/3 of 72 pi, so that'd be 2/3 times 72 pi, which is 144 pi over 3, which gives us about, what is that? I want to say B, 48 pi is the right answer here. A company that provides whale watching tours takes groups of 21 people at a time. The company's revenue is $80 per adult and $60 per child. If the company's revenue for one group consisting of adults and children was $1,440, how many people in the group were children? So we have the adults plus the children is equal to 21, and 80 times the adults plus 60 times the children is equal to 1,440. So now we just have to solve the systems of equation. Let's say the adults are equal to 21 minus the children. So we have 80 times 21 minus C plus 60. C is equal to 1,440. And that gives us about, what is that? 1680 minus 80C plus 60C is equal to 1440. Combine like terms, you get negative 20C is equal to 1440 minus 1680. It's negative 240. And C is equal to 12. There were 12 children. To verify this, let's multiply it out. 12 times 60 is 720. That means there were 9 adults, so it would be 80 times 9, which is another 720. So indeed, there are 12 children. The function h is defined by h of x is equal to 4x plus 28. The graph of y is equal to h of x in the xy plane has an x-intercept at 8, 0, and y-intercept at 0, b, where a and b are constants. What is the value of a plus b? The y-intercept of h of x is going to be 28. So b is 28. So we already know it's not, well, I guess it could be. So we have b is 28. The x-intercept is when the y is 0. So when h of x is 0. So we have 0 is equal to 4x plus 28. We move the 28 to the other side, we get negative 28 is equal to 4x. Divide by 4, and we get negative 7. So A is the correct answer after we add negative 7 and 28. What are the factors of 2x cubed plus 42x squared plus 208x is x plus b, where b is a positive constant? What is the smallest possible value of b? We can reduce this by dividing by 2. So we have x cubed plus 21x squared plus 109x. We can also take out an x. So we have x squared plus 21 plus 21x specifically plus 109. We can see here that we can split this quadratic further. It looks like 109 should be 104 actually, not 109. Oops. Let me redo this question. One of the factors of 2x cubed plus 42x squared plus 208x is x plus b, where b is a positive constant. What is the smallest possible value of b? Here we can see that we can divide this by 2x and pull that out. So we have 2x, x squared plus 21x plus 208 divided by 2x is going to be 104. So now we have to divide this quadratic further. We see that we have 21, so we need two numbers that sum to 21. We also have 104, which is divisible by 2 to give us 57. It does not look like this gives us in a clean solution. No, not 57. 104 divided by 2 is 52. 52 does divide further. 104 divided by 4 is 26. Let's see what else they have. 104 divided by... 104 is 52, 26. 104 divided by 13 is 8. Okay, so we have x plus 8 and x plus 13. Here's the funny thing. This is going to be x is equal to negative 8 and negative 13. And because we know that the 13 is smaller, this b is going to equal... Well, b can't be negative. One of the factors is x plus b. Oh, we're not solving for x, we're solving for the b value. Of course. The smallest possible value of b is a positive constant. If you don't include 0, then it's 8. The smallest possible one is 8. Misread that question. That would have hurt me on a real exam. In the given system of equations, a is a positive constant. The system has exactly one distinct real solution. What is the value of a? Okay, y is equal to negative 1.5. X squared plus 8x plus a, where the system has one distinct real solution. I've never really seen a question like this before. Well, we plug in. Negative 1.5 is equal to x squared plus 8x plus a. Well, not 8, plus a. What is the value of a? Has one distinct real solution. Distinct and real kind of implies to me that maybe we're looking at a square here. So a plus 1.5 is equal to the square. That would give us the 8x. But in that case, there wouldn't be a middle. Well, there could be. X plus 4 squared. X plus 4 squared would give us... It would give us this. If a is equal to 2.5. So suppose a is equal to 2.5 and we add 1.5. Then we have x squared plus 8x plus 4. No, that wouldn't be correct, because the 8x would have to be achieved a different way. This one stumped me. Not sure exactly how to solve this. Tough problem. Is there any other way to approach it? Let's see. Well, I guess the only thing I can really think of is, if A is positive, I guess it could be 7. So if A plus 1.5 is equal to 7, then we have x squared plus 8x plus 7. Let me redraw that. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 7, and this would be x plus 7, x plus 1. And this is one distinct, well, that's not exactly one distinct real solution, I guess. Oh, unless it's talking about A. I would say A has to be 5.5. This is the only thing I can come up with this problem. F of x is equal to x plus 6 times x plus 5 times x minus 4. The function f is given. Which table of values represents y is equal to f of x minus 3? So you would plug in the x into f of x, and then you would just subtract 3 from it. So if you were to plug in -6, you would get 0. So it would be -3. If you plug it in -5, you would get 0. It would be -3. If you plugged in 4, you get 0, and then you subtract 3. So the answer is B, because we're just plugging in the zeros here. For the function q, the value of q of x decreases by 45% for every increase in the value of x by 1. If q of 0 is equal to 14, which equation defines q? So it decreases by 45%. This is an increase, this is an increase, this is an increase. The only answer can be C. Yep. That makes sense. The graph of y is equal to f of x plus 14, which equation defines the function. We see it has a negative slope, so nothing positive. Good, that looks right. It has a y-intercept at 0, 2. Which, the only one that has that is C. Everything else is way too high. 25. The side lengths of a right triangle RST are given. RST. It's similar to UVW, where S corresponds to V and T, where S corresponds to V and T corresponds to W. What is the value of tan W? RST 20, 48, 52. So this is UV, where S corresponds to V and T corresponds to W. What is the value of tan W? Tan W would be opposite over adjacent. So it'd be, let me change the color here. It'd be opposite over adjacent, or UV over VW. In this case, that'll be the same thing as 20 over 48, since it's similar. 20 over 48 is 10 over 24, which can be reduced into 5 over 12. Answer is B. 1 gallon of paint will cover 220 square feet of a surface. A room has a total wall area of W square feet. Which equation represents the total amount of paint P in gallons needed to paint the walls of the room twice? Okay. 1 gallon covers 220 square feet. A room has a total water area of W square feet. So the number of gallons, so it'd be the number of space divided by the number of gallons you have. So if there is an area of W and each gallon covers 220 square feet, then W divided by 220 will give us how many gallons? 1 gallon of paint, the total amount of paint P in gallons. Okay, yeah. So W over 220. The number A is 110% greater than B, so A is, let's see, B, no, that's not how we compute this. The number A is 110% better than B. No, blah, 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 blah. The number A is 110% greater than the number B. The number B is 90% less than 47. What is the value of A? Well, B is 47 times 0.9, and A is equal to 1.1 times B. So then we have A is equal to 1.1 times 47 times 0.9. Doing that on a calculator, we have 1.1 times 1.1 times 47 times 0.9, which is 46.53. Does that make sense for A? Let me do that again. 1.1 times 47 times 0.9. I guess so, I guess so. Oops. 46.53. And this makes sense because if B is 90% less than 47, we're going to... Oh, never mind. B is 90% less than 47. This is wrong. I misread the question. So B is equal to 0.1 of 47. And then A is equal to 1.1 times B. So then we have 1.1 times 0.1 times 47. After we plug in the B, so we have 1.1 times 0.1 times 47. So we have 5.17 for A. Now for this to make sense, let's calculate B. B is 90% less than 47. So 0.1 times 47 is 4.7. Now for this to make sense, 5.17 has to be 10% greater than B. So 4.7 times 1.1 is indeed 5.17. So A is 5.17. Okay, that's part 1 done. Take a breather for a second, drink some water. Here. All right. Time to continue. Hold on. There we go. Not sure what happened to the music. Onward! There are 55 students in Spanish Club. A sample of the Spanish Club students was selected at random and asked whether they intend to enroll in a new study program. 20% responded that they intend to enroll. So what is a good estimate? So if we took a sample and 20% responded, we're going to take 20% of the 55 students. We're going to take 20% of the 55 students in the Spanish Club. So it'd be 55 times 0.2, which is the same thing as saying 55 times 2 times 10%. 10% is 5.5 here, and times 2 is going to be 11. Jay walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. That's a very, very fast walk. He walks for W hours and runs for R hours for a combined total of 14 miles. Which equation represents this situation? Okay. So he ran 14 miles. And walks for W, runs for R. Walks for 3, runs for 5, and that's equal to 14. I would say that's A. Now, if this was a systems of equation question, we would also be given the total amount of time spent each. Let me see. 14 miles is correct. Yeah, we would just have to be given something else. I feel like I might be missing something for this problem though. Oh, because we're not given how many hours. If this was a systems of equation question, then we would also be given how many hours in total. And then we could solve it. But as is, this is the correct answer. The scatter plot shows the relationship between two variables, x and y. A line of best fit is also shown. Which of the following equations best represents the line of best fit shown? It looks like there's a y-intercept at around +3. So B and D are wrong. We also know this is positive, so C is wrong. A is the only correct answer. The graph of y is equal to f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? So when x is 0, it's also the y-axis. What is the value of f of 0? That looks to be +3. Which expression is equivalent to m to the 4, q to the 4, z to the -1 times m times q to the 5, z to the 3, where m, q, and z are positive, or we can just multiply these out. It'd be m to the 4 times m, which is just m to the 5. There's already only one answer that has that, but we'll continue. Q to the 4 times q to the 5 is q to the 9. Then z to the -1 times z to the 3, which is z to the 2. Here you just have to add the exponents together when you're multiplying with the same base, and we can kind of just move stuff around because of the associativity of multiplication. And yeah, we see that B is the correct answer. What is the median of the data shown? Median is like the middle point. So we find the middle point of this data set. The first one is 73, the second one is 91. Cross them out as we go. 74 and 85, 75 and 84. 77 and 82, and 79. So our answer is 79. X plus 40 is equal to 95. What value of x is a solution to the given equation? Well, here we just subtract the 40 over, and we get 55. Surprisingly easy compared to some of the other questions on this so far. Okay, continuing. 5x is equal to 15, negative 4x plus y is equal to negative 12. Oh, sure. If you put the equation out, I can try working on it for you. What is it? Let's see if I can find some blank space. I guess I'll do it right here. I'll keep going while you write that out, and I'll get to it in a second. What is the value of x plus y? Well, we have x is equal to 3. Negative 12 plus y is equal to negative 2. Add 12 on both sides, and we get y is equal to 10. So that would give us 13. Change back to a better opacity. There we go. The given function g models the number of gallons. Gotcha, no worries. Take your time. I'll still be here. I have another 20 questions. The given function g models the number of gallons of gasoline that remains from a full gas tank in a car after driving m miles. According to the model, about how many gallons of gasoline are used to drive each mile? Okay, because this is linear, it's going to be decreasing, and it has a y-intercept of 12.1. This is, to me, how many gallons start off. So we start off with 12.1 and we decrease by negative 0.5, or we decrease by 0.5 every m miles. So every mile is about 0.05 gallons, which is about 20 miles per gallon. The given equation relates the positive numbers b, x, and y. Which equation correctly expresses x in terms of b and y? Okay, in order to do that, we have to get x on its own. So to do that, we're going to multiply y to both sides, and that moves it to the top. So we have y over 7b is equal to 11x. Divide both sides by 11. We have y 11 times 7 times b, which is y 77b. And that is C. Okay, on to 11. Y is equal to 76, and y is equal to x squared minus 5. The graphs of the given equations in the xy plane intersect at the point x comma y. What is a possible value of x? For them to intersect means that y needs to equal 76. So 76 is equal to x squared minus 5. This doesn't look like a nice number. Oh, it's super easy. Yeah, we can just plug in here. Let's look at negative 9 specifically. Negative 9 squared minus 5 is 81 minus 5, and that is 76. This is one of the easier questions where you can just plug in a number and find the answer fairly fast. So B is correct. Negative 9 is a possible solution. The point x comma 53 is a solution to the system of inequalities in the xy plane. Which of the following could be the value for x? So we know y is 53. So we have 53 is greater than 14. Phenomenal. And then we have 4x plus 53 is less than 18. Okay, so we're going to subtract 53 to both sides. We have 4x is less than, what is that? Negative 45? No, negative 35. And then x is less than, let's see, negative 8.75. So negative 9 would be an appropriate solution, and that makes sense because it means the other ones aren't viable. And just to verify this, let's plug it back in. 4 times negative 8.75 is 35, or negative 35. And if we add 53, yeah, it does make sense, it does make sense. Out of 300 seeds that were planted, 80% sprouted. How many of these seeds sprouted? So we multiply 300 by 0.8. 0.8 is the equivalent of 80%. We know this because we do it 80 over 100, 80% or 80 per 100, and that gives us 0.8. 0.8 times 300 is 240. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 4x. For what value of x does f of x equal 8? This is just x is equal to 2, but if you want to find the normal way of doing it, you do 8 is equal to f of x is equal to 4x. So you have 4x is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4. Get x is equal to 2. Which expression is equivalent to 8x times x minus 7 minus 3x times x minus 7 over 2x minus 14, where x is greater than 7? I find it crazy that we go from these simple problems to suddenly a much harder problem. I do wish this exam was more consistent, but it also looks like a older SAT exam, so it makes a little sense why some of the questions are a bit inconsistent in their difficulty. It looks like I'll probably have to be multiplying this out. Maybe there's an easier way. So we can pull out this x minus 7 on top, and we have x minus 7, 8x minus 3, and then 2x on the bottom, 2x minus 14 is just 2 times x minus 7. So we can remove 2 of these x minus 7s, and we get 8x minus 3 over 2, which is b. In this case, it benefits to see that if you have some numbers of the form x minus whatever, to see if you can just cancel them out between the numerator and the denominator. You can save a lot of time canceling them out instead of multiplying everything out and then doing the division. Like we can already see here that we can pull out the x minus 7 and then just cancel out on the top and bottom and save ourselves a lot of time. Line P is defined by 2y plus 18x. Here, let's look at this problem. Okay, the pine is now 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. The spruce is now 315 years old. What is the age of the pine tree now? The pine tree, P, let's say, is 2 times as old as the spruce tree was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. Okay, so we're working with 4 different variables here. Let's put, we'll do like new pine is equal to 2 times as old as the spruce when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. Okay, the wording is a little interesting. The pine is now 2 times as old as the spruce, as when the spruce was the pine is now 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. Okay, so it's 2 times as old as the spruce. So this is old spruce. Old spruce is equal to 2 times old pine. New spruce is equal to 315. So So the pine is now 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. And now the spruce is 315 years old. This is a very confusing problem. Well, I think I have this chunk right. So the new pine is 2 times the old spruce, which is 2 times the old pine. So that's 4 times the old pine. And the spruce is 315 years old now. Dang. They're giving this to you in 7th grade? That's crazy. I'll work through it. I'm not gonna give up. Let's see. So the spruce is now 315 years old. So the pine is 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. The spruce is now 315. New pine is equal to 2 times old pine. Let's see. If the spruce is now 315 years old, we know the spruce is older, so we're working with the pine tree is going to be less than 315. Yeah, we never had problems like this in America, at least. But there's definitely a trick to this that must be, that must make it obvious. It's almost more like an IQ question. I'm just trying to see where the 315 comes in. So the pine is 2 times as old as when the spruce was 2 times as old, the pine. So it's 4 times the old pine. And now the spruce is 315 years old. I'm just trying to figure out where the 315 helps us out here. The spruce used to be 2 times as old as the pine. And now the pine is 2 times that. One thing we can do is we can just plug in and try to hope we find the correct answer. I imagine they're close together, because if the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine at some point, that must mean it's no longer 2 times as old. Okay, hold on. So we do have some equations here. Well, the new spruce is 315. Okay, I think I'm seeing it. So we have our new spruce. That's going to equal, let's see. If the new pine is 2 times as old, the new pine is 4 times the old pine, or 2 times the old spruce. Well, the new spruce is just the old spruce time, and however much time has passed. Because the amount of time passed, so new spruce and new pine are also equal to like t plus 2 times, or yeah, are also equal to the time passed since then. So the spruce used to be 2 times as old as the pine, and t time has passed since then. And then the pine used to be half the size of the spruce. Oh, it used to be half the size of the old spruce, and t time has passed since then. So it'd be the pine is now 2 times as old as spruce when the spruce is 2 times as old as the pine. Let me rewrite this all now that I'm on a new line of thinking. Okay. The pine is 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. The spruce is now 315 years old. So the pine when the old spruce was 2 times old pine. So the old pine is equal to 1/2 of what the old spruce was. And old spruce is 1/2 of pine now. So what is our current time? We know spruce as is 315, which is the same thing as well, I'm just confused on some of these variables. I guess it would be easier if I kept track of them nicely. Let me finish through these questions on the SAT and I will come back to this. I only have a couple more. Let's see, just about 2.5 pages, and then I'll spend the rest of the time working on this problem. I'll have to go deeper into it. Line P is defined by 2y plus 18x is equal to 9. Line R is perpendicular to line P in the xy plane. What is the slope of line R? So let's get the slope of this and then find the perpendicular line to it. So we have 2y is equal to negative 18x plus 9. We got y is equal to negative 9 plus 4.5. Well, we don't really need to know the 4.5. So it's perpendicular to negative 9. Negative 9 is going to look like something like this. So perpendicular is going to look like that. It's going to be positive, so it's neither b nor a. It's going to be increasing pretty slowly, so it's going to be c. The given function f models the number of coupons a company sent to their customers at the end of each year, where t represents the number of years since the end of 1998. okay, is the best interpretation of the y-intercept of the graph in this context? The number of years, okay. T represents the number of years since 1988. At the end of each year, the y-intercept is probably how much they sent out at the start. So D. Starting in 1998. Triangle XYZ is similar to triangle RST such that X, Y, and Z correspond to RST respectively. The measure of angle Z is 20, 2XY is equal to RS. What is the measure of angle T? I'll just draw a generic triangle. Do X, Y, Z, R, S, T. This is 20. This is also 20. Angle, the measure of angle Z, it's also 20. The angles are proportional. Of course, of course. One of the equations in a system of two linear equations is given. The system has no solution. Which equation could be the second equation in the system? It's probably A. Just by looking at it, if we plug in this into A, we have negative 6x plus 6x plus 18 is equal to 18. These 18s cancel out and these x's cancel out, and we get 0 is equal to 0. So there is no solution. I'll say A. What is the area in square centimeters of a rectangle with length 34 and width of 29? We just multiply that. 29 times 36 is 1044. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. What is the value of x minus y? Okay, so we need to solve this systems of equation. Let's multiply the top by 4 and then subtract it. This becomes 16, this becomes 4. We subtract this. This becomes 4x. Subtract a 4 here, and we also get negative 12. 0 is equal to 4x minus 12, or 12 is equal to 4x. X is equal to 3. Going back to the start, we have y is equal to 12 plus 1, or y is equal to 13. So I would assume this is negative 10, but let's make sure. 4y is equal to 15x minus 8. That's 45 minus 8 is equal to... That does not look right. I definitely did something wrong here. Let's go back. I feel like I skipped some steps, and that's why I'm not figuring this one out. Y is equal to 4x plus 1. Let's just plug in. So we have 4x plus 1 is equal to 15x minus 8. So we have 16x plus 4 is equal to 15x minus 8, or x is equal to negative 4. Starting to make a little bit more sense. So we have, plugging into the first one, we have negative 16 plus 1 gives us y is equal to negative 15. Does that make sense? Does negative 60... let's see. That doesn't make sense again. What am I missing here? Okay, I am skipping way too many steps. Subtract the 4 over, x is equal to negative 12. So then we have 4 times negative 12 is negative 48. So we have negative 47 for y. Let's make sure that's right. This is negative 188, which is equal to 15. Yeah, negative 180 minus 8. So we have negative 12 minus 47. So that would be negative 12 minus 47 is 35. How many distinct real solutions does the equation have? Let's see. This is an interesting problem. Let's see. Negative. Wait, 0. It has no real solutions because this is positive and this is positive. So we're going to have like some graph up here. It's never going to cross the x-axis. A certain park has an area of 11 million square yards. What is the area in square miles of the park? So 1 mile is this many yards. So 1 mile squared is 1760 times 1760. It's 39,760. And 11,863,808 divided by 309,7600 is 3.83. Final page. Which of the following equations represents a circle in the xy plane that intersects the y-axis at exactly 1 point? Okay, that means if it intersects at only 1 point, it has to barely touch the y-axis because of how circles are. Looks something like that. So it's probably this. It has a radius that must be equal to however much it's shifted. So this has a radius of 4. So that means it has to be shifted by 4. The only option is B here. In triangles ABC and DEF, angles BE have measure 27, and CF each have, okay, ABC, DEF, ABC, DEF, each have 27, B and E have 27, C and F have 41. What additional piece of information is sufficient to determine whether triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF? So we can be given a side. I think I remember angle, side. But angle A and angle D both have to have the same angle. For them to be congruent though, I'm gonna say we need the length of AB. I could be wrong on this one. I don't remember too much my triangles. All right. Check out number 26. Two data sets of 23 integers each are summarized in the histogram shown. For each of the histograms, the first interval represents the frequency of integers greater than or equal to 10, but less than 20. Okay, what is the smallest possible difference between the mean of dataset A and the mean of dataset B? The smallest possible difference, let's see. The way I'm thinking about it is that since B is smaller on average than A, we want B to be as close as possible to the right end, and we're going to want A to be as close as possible to the left end. So I'm going to say the smallest possible has to be at least 1. Because no matter what, there's going to be a distance of 1 between each block. I'm not too sure on this answer though. A right triangle has legs with lengths of 24 and 21. Let's see, 24, 21, 3 square root of d. What is the value of d? Well, we're going to have 21 squared plus 24 squared is equal to c squared. 21 squared is equal to 441 plus 24 squared. It's 1,117 is equal to c squared. So let's see. A 1,117 divided by 3 is 339. Divided by 3 again. This was what this implies. So it's 3, and then square root of d would have to be 1017 divided by 3, divided by 3 again, 113 on the inside. So I'm going to say it's 113. Okay. I'm going to get some more water, and then I'm going to look at the pine tree question again. Let me see if I can just put it on a new page. Here we go. Pine tree and spruce. See if I can rewrite it. Okay. Let me get some more water and I'll be right back. Alright, let's see if I can tackle this question. Okay. The pine is now 2 times as old as the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old as the pine. The spruce is now 315 years old. What is the age of the pine tree now? So, the pine is equal to 2 times old spruce. And the old spruce is equal to 2 times old pine. Spruce is 315 now. We know that spruce is 315 and it's equal to however much time passed plus old spruce. And we know pine is equal to however much time passed plus old pine. Now that we have these, we can try solving. Gives us a little bit more to work with. We know that old spruce is 2 times old pine. So we have t plus 2 times old pine. And that's equal to 315. And then pine is equal to t plus old pine. So if we add in old pine to both sides, we get spruce. We have a lot of variables here that we don't know. So in order to solve for it, we need to try solving for at least one. We know current spruce is 315. Pine is t plus old pine, which is equal to 2 times old spruce. Which is equal to 2 times 2 times old pine. So t is equal to, or t plus old pine is equal to 4 times old pine. So the t is equal to 3 times old pine. So if 3 old pines times have passed, what does that tell us? T is equal to, or spruce is 315. Oh wait, here we go. Then spruce is equal to 3 times old pine. So that would be 3 times old pine plus 2 times old pine. Because of this equation. So we're combining these and plugging t in there. Oops. Which means this is 5 times old pine is 315. So let's divide 315 by 5. So old pine is equal to 63. So now that we have old pine, we know current pine is 4 times old pine, and that is 252. So we have pine is equal to 4 times old pine equal to 4 times 63 equal to 252. And I think that's right. I could be wrong, but it makes sense. We know spruce is going to be older than pine, but we know it's not much older because it used to only be 2 times as old. This means spruce used to be 126. We know the time that's passed is 63 times 3, which is 189. 189 plus, what did I just say, 106? 112, what was 126 plus 183 equals 309. Am I getting that right? 63 spruce is 315. Old spruce used to be 2 times old pine. So we add in how much time has passed, which is 63 times 3, and we get 315. Awesome. Whew. I was worried. There were so many numbers here. Yeah, so the part I had missed was you need to keep track of how much time has passed, and the amount of time that's passed is equal for both. I got confused on 2 times as old, and the spruce was 2 times as old. We know the amount of time has passed. The amount of time that has passed for both trees is equal. So if the pine is now 2 times as old the spruce was when the spruce was 2 times as old the pine, we know somewhere in there spruce is equal to time plus the old spruce, and we can just mess around with the variables and treat it like a systems of equations problem. That's a good question. Very good question. Thank you for sending it to me. You have any other problems you want me to try out? Otherwise I'll end the stream here. How can I make another page? Here we go. There's a new page. I can try pulling up one of the problems I've gotten wrong on the previous practice exam. Let's see. Here we go. Where'd it paste? Up here? Okay. Yeah. Send me the next one you have while I stare at this one. I enjoy math. That pine tree one was a good brain teaser. For polynomial p of x, the value of p of 3 is equal to -2. Which of the following must be true about p of x? P of 3 is negative 2. When we divide by x minus 3, do we get negative 2? I just don't see how this follows. You plug in 3, you get negative 2. Okay. Let me grab this question. A third of the computers are from Nokia, 2/5 of the computers are metal. Is this supposed to say like 1/3 are from Nokia, 2/5 are from some other, and 12 are something else? I'm confused at what it's asking or what it's giving me. So just the other 12. I'm going to assume this is like 1/3 is X, 2/5 is Y, and then the remainder 12 are something else. So how many there are in total? So 1/3, 2/5. Let's combine them into like terms. Multiply by 5, we get 5 over 15. Multiply by 3, we get 6 over 15, which is 11 over 15 there. So this 12 would have to represent the 4 over the 15. Okay, so what do I do from there? If this is 4 over the 15, 12 is 4 out of 15. Then that means 6 is 2 out of the 15. Okay. 6 would be... 3 would be 1 out of the 15. So then we just multiply by 15. That would be 45. There are 45 computers in total. Is that correct? Because if 12 goes to 4 over 15, then 3 must go to 1 over 15? That's how I would do it from how I understand the problem. Or is this not supposed to be... Is this just an expression, or are we looking for an actual solution? Okay, okay. Phew, phew. Awesome. Yeah, this was way easier than the pine one. I was a little confused on the wording specifically, but it did make sense. It did make sense. Very cool. Thank you for this problem. I hope it made sense on how I was explaining it. Back to this head scratcher. Okay, so I'm gonna just find a polynomial that this is true, where p of 3 is equal to negative 2. For p of 3 to be negative 2, we can say x minus 5 could be. Plug in 3, it does give you negative 2. What's another? Let's try x squared. What x squared would give us this? 9 plus... Well, we can just do 9 minus 11. But then none of these other ones hold. Just none of these are true. Because 9 minus 11 is -2. The only thing that makes sense here is D. Doesn't make sense that anything else is a factor. Let me go see what the solution to this was again. Let's see. This was one of the last questions. This is question 29, and the answer was D. But then I got it right. Okay. Yeah, the only one that makes sense here is D because this polynomial fulfills this, so it's not true that any of them other ones have to be true. However, the remainder when p of x is divided by x minus 3 is -2. When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1? When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1? This is... I'm trying to think of it in binary. Maybe that could be it? It gives us 1, 0, 1 though. That's not right. When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1? It's a tough riddle. Any hints? This is the first thing that comes to -13, but that seems wrong. That is certainly not 1. 2 to 11. Is it in the wording? 2 plus 11, 1, 12. Is that how you spell 12? 12 plus 1? Is that the right way? 12, 1? Time. Oh. Oh, that gives it away. When it's 2 hours, 11 hours, or it's 11 a.m. and you add 2 hours. Funnily enough, it's around that time for me right now. It's a good trick question, good riddle. Yeah, this polynomial question just stumps me. I'll have to find similar questions because I really just don't understand this one. But of all the ones I did in my practice SAT speedrun, this is the only one that didn't make any sense. The other ones I got wrong because of silly mistakes. But I really just can't figure this one out. Unless there's like some remainder polynomial trick. Awesome, yeah. Probably be here around the same time next time, so bring some questions and I'll answer them. Thank you. Kept me entertained, kept me sane. Okay, maybe I can understand this now. I forgot how to divide polynomials. So suppose I have x squared minus 11 and I want to divide by x minus 3. I would do x squared, actually by plus, x squared minus 3x. It'd be 1. This would be 8x minus, was it just 8x? Hold on, we can't do that subtraction. What am I doing? Negative 3x plus 11 plus 3x minus 9. Yeah, it is negative 2. I think I understand. I just forgot how to divide by polynomials. It makes sense now that I look at an image. It's true for any polynomial, I guess. It's good to know for the future. You just have to actually divide it and then see what's left over. Not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna run through this and see which questions I got right, which ones I got wrong, and then I'll call it a day. Let's see. What exam was this? 3? No, this is not 3. Oh, it probably is 2. I forgot those were discontinued though. Probably just too old. Yeah, this is definitely an ancient exam. I'll have to go chunk by chunk then. Let's see. No, this is still not the correct exam. That's a shame. It's good practice regardless. I am going to end it here. This is pretty fun. It's good practice for the speedrun I'll probably be doing this next week. Thank you to everyone that stuck around and anybody that's watching this now. I will see you around this time next Saturday, hopefully, at 12 p.m. Eastern. Well, not 12 p.m. Eastern, Pacific time. See ya.